Hello, Namaste, Sasikal, good evening. Welcome to the S.S.Chandhok talk show. I'm your host and moderator, S.S.Chandhok. Today, we are gathered here again for a very important cause. We are going to talk about mathematics. We see, and we had been seeing at our times also, there was a lot of problem. We had the children, or we had a phobia of mathematics when it comes to the middle school. Children, they enjoy mathematics till grade 5, and from the middle school, they start having a phobia that maths is going to be a very difficult thing for them. What are the causes of of this thing, which is not, although maths is not so difficult, it is very easy. But what are the causes of this creation of phobia, and how can we remove this phobia among the students of middle school? This is what we are going to discuss today in this particular episode. And the first eminent guest present today over here is Dr. Savita Arora ma'am. She is the principal of a very prestigious institution in Delhi, that is Bharati Public School. And although she doesn't know needs any introduction, she is a very famous personality in Delhi NCR for sure. But still, ma'am, we will like to know about you. People will like to know about you from the other parts of the country who are over here, as well as who will be seeing this episode about your educational journey. Did you came into this profession by chance or by choice? And how did you go from the first school as a teacher and now as a principal, a senior principal actually in this Bharati Public School?
Good evening to all of you. I think people should not be known by their fame and faces and awards and all other things, but their work. So I am a strong believer of this fact that I am passionate. I don't know, when I was a child, I never thought of becoming a teacher. This is very right to share at this platform because by choice and by chance, if you ask, now this becomes the first question when I do the counseling for the 11th and then find it out what they say. It was not at all there in our times. I'm talking about 80s. So then there was nothing to say that what you want to become. Everybody is going to in the flow, I think. There was nothing much to think about yourself that what you want to become. I don't know, maybe my colleagues are listening and thinking that, ma'am, what are you saying? We have a long dream or something like that. But in 80s, children were brought up in such a way that they were, I must say that they were holistic development, which was found in those days. And now new NEP is going to turn over that phase once again. And now everybody is ground rooted and try to come up with a globe thought. So I myself was a very sporty child and very creative person, sports, culture, everything. I was into, good at theater, dance, but not. I am a KV student and I always feel proud that KV schools in those times were the gems. Now there are many public schools, KVs have, still they are ground rooted and their course system and everything is so fine. I always appreciate. And my journey does not start with the swing that, okay, I am going to become a teacher. It is by default, I must say, but I have only one thing is me, which is very positive attitude, can-do attitude, and passionate about the things. Whatever I do it in a perfection. So that only these 2-3 things have made me on this pinnacle. And I believe in myself. And I think if I am on this chair where I'm creating human beings, it is the right position set for me.
Right, absolutely right, ma'am. So, ma'am, from which school did you started your career as a teacher?
From this school, but from nursery class, as a teacher of nursery class.
Oh my
So
God,
I
such a
have
long
seen
time.
each and every step, and step by step, I have grown, and I believe in growing like that only, not as a silver spoon.
That's amazing, ma'am. Always, when you see to the principals, there are PGTs.
Yeah.
In the rare case, it happens that you start up with a primary or the middle school, and
That
come
is
up to
the
the
and
serious
very
academics.
normal student, not very good at academics. So I'm sharing it with you that when I recruit teachers now, I hardly pick up any gold medalists because I want to pick up the teachers, those who are good at teaching, not themselves. They are a good student and they are gold medalists. I don't believe in them because it is very much clear cut things. I'm sharing it with you that this is my experience. I have seen golden, this kind of teachers also, those who have got the gold medal and some, but they are egoist. They feel that, and I feel that the child who has struggled himself in his life will be a good teacher now because he or she must be knowing how to pitfalls those things and carry forward. And
Absolutely
I have
right, ma'am.
shown this thing.
Yeah, absolutely right, Savita ma'am. I will agree with you because I have also seen that there are teachers who have done PhD, but they cannot write an application in English even.
Yeah,
And they have done PhD in English, and they have
that
done
is the
PhD in
other fact,
English.
but still, still it
So
happens.
qualification doesn't matter. And we have seen, I've also noticed so many youngsters just doing so beautifully. They may be freshers, but they're doing so beautifully that you feel like that you should take. I take up youngsters, ma'am. I am not going for the oldies. In my school, I am giving exposure. I say you can believe, take it as a training school or whatever it is, but I'll give you the best one.
Yeah,
And
that's
I
little right.
I I don't want teachers. I want leaders in my school, and
Yeah,
I try to whatever I have taken up from my seniors till now in 25, 26 year. I want to make it as a legacy and move it forward to the others also.
I take
So
every
you feel,
teacher as a challenge because I want
yeah.
to make them struggle some as I did. So
And
that
ma'am,
is
you
the only
feel,
thing.
and ma'am, when you feel very good when your teachers or coordinators who have worked under you, when they
Yeah,
become principals, I feel proud of myself then.
even I am also
that
proud of my team.
that
Yeah,
that I've been upgraded now. Thank you so much, Savita ma'am, for
thank
coming.
you. Thank you.
We do get inspired from each other for sure. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Yeah.
Next, we have Dr. Neeru Arora, ma'am. She is a principal of a very prestigious institution in Mandi Govindgarh, that is Govindgarh Public School. That is a very reputed school in that particular area. Welcome, Neeru ma'am. Neeru ma'am. Pleased to
Thank
see you here. Thank you so much for coming. You have come for the first time to the show.
Yeah,
Thank you
thank
so
you.
much for coming, first of all. Ma'am, please let us know about yourself also, your educational journey.
Good evening, everybody. Good evening, Savita ma'am. Good evening, Savita ma'am. Good evening, Nirmal Shah sir, and good evening to Chandhok sir as well. So, my educational journey as a principal started with a school in which I was a founder principal, and I have founded a school which was having 1,600 kids. And before that, I was working in a college. So it was altogether a flip side for me. But as Savita ma'am was saying that our generation was not brought up in that way that we could have thought quite early that we want to become that. I remember in my school days, I just wanted to do something where I have a play with the language. So I did the same. I did my doctorate in English language. So so I love helping people. I started my career as a teacher when I did my bachelor's in education, and my degree was yet awaited. I was working with a school which was till class 5, and I was handling children. So I remember children pouncing on my shoulders, and that was a beautiful feeling. And I believe that was the foundation which has given me, a base of becoming a good leader. So leaders have to give a kind of freedom to the people who are working around you. As you have been mentioning, Chandok sir, that I have produced leaders. Even in my short career span of 17 years, I have been able to produce almost 7 principals till now. So I'm proud of that thing. Thank you so much for having me on the show. Yeah.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Pleasure is was that you have come over here. Next, we have Swati Ahmed, ma'am. She is the principal of a very prestigious institution which is all over the world, GT Goenka Public School. That is in Punia, Bihar. Thank you, Swati ma'am. Welcome to the show. And I also saw your profile that you had worked with a lot of branches of GT Goenka. So I think GD Goenka people, they are so fond of you that it won't want to leave. If you are not liking the management at one place, they're saying, okay, you don't move, we'll move you to another GD Goenka. But please, it's a request, don't leave GD Goenka. So that is also a very positive and good thing about when instead of your management, the people, I mean, from the, franchisee or whatever you can say, they know your, that worth, that you are a asset for them. But if the management also feels that, that is also very good. But it's better that all the times the things are not the same. Ma'am, please let us know about your, experience into going into so many schools, but in GT Goenka.
Thank you so much, Sarabjit sir, for all your praises. My journey began when I was just 19 years old. One fine day, I was going to my fine art classes, and I was brought up in a family, like my parents were the ones like who have produced children, and then the children were left to the world to explore everything. Like so this kind of upbringing I did receive from my parents. Unlike other children, I too wanted to sit at home and eat mangoes during my summer vacation. But then every summer vacation, I was sent to attend some other class. And this is how I could learn music, dance, drama, fine art, and whatnot they have taught. Even they asked me to explore sports too. I did play hockey in Raipur. And gradually, when I was 19, my PG result was awaited, and that was the time like I had nothing to do, and I was a person who already has started taking hobby classes when I was 17. So I had that like I have to do something since the result did not declare, and what to do. So with my bag and all those paints, brushes and all, I landed in one of the school very near to my house, and had interaction with the owner, and he was quite happy about it. And it was Saturday. He told me, Swati, just come to school from Monday onwards. And that young Swati started walking to the school without having any experience. And that was the time I was placed in primary section. So I grew with those primary section children, how to teach, what to teach, learning from my peer, how to go to the class and then prepare your lesson plans, asking them how to maintain a logbook. So this was my journey. I kept on working. Slowly, gradually, I did work for 16 years, and after that, I did my B.Ed. After doing B.Ed, then it was something like getting some extra benefit in the career. And then I began my journey, then slowly worked as coordinator, the vice principal, the principal, and as you said, like the management values. And then this is the reason people do not want me to move out of GD Goenka. And that is, I should say that it's my asset, what I have earned in life.
Ma'am, but as a teacher and coordinator, it was again GT Goenka.
No, sir. Initial times when I was in Raipur, the children were my priority. I brought up children. I am blessed with two daughters. The elder daughter of mine is working with head office of Intel in Santa Clara, and the younger daughter of mine is pursuing law from Pune Symbiosis. And this is the time when I really want to contribute to the society. So last decade of my life, I want to really do something that I leave my name before I sleep forever.
Amazing, ma'am. That's great, ma'am. And whenever kids are doing good, so you feel proud of that. Even I have two kids, one daughter and son. The elder one, sister, my daughter. She has just done English honors from Shada University, Greater Noida. And she, from the first year only, she had done internship and she's doing freelancing as a print writer. And I've just called her back and I said her to fill up your B.Ed form. And today she had that exam. And from second year only, she's working as a PGT English. I said, by the time you have that experience also till afternoon, you can go for the schools and you're doing freelancing that you can do it in the evening time. So right now she has completed graduation, about to go into B.Ed. And again, the same thing in 21, at the age of 21, she is now a TGT English right now. So she feels a lot of burden. She had just started up with a burden. So she said, but I'm enjoying that. I'll get into the things. So, when your kids are doing good, it might be in any ways. They are going for the companies or they're going for any job. So you feel very proud of that. And she has got a very good startup with a very branded school here in Kanpur, even though she is very happy with that. And probably after doing this, she'll be moving again to anywhere in India or abroad for her higher studies also. So you feel very good when your
That's
kids are
true.
doing very, very good. And she freelance, I mean, what content writing she is doing amazing in that. A lot of companies are associated with her and she's doing work for them also. So both the ways she says that I have to work throughout my day. I don't want to have a good time. I want to enjoy, and she enjoys her life all the time. You're having passes from Nika and Amazon and all the things all the time. I'm seeing that whatever she's earning, she's spending, but she's enjoying her life, and this is the best thing which this generation has, that they know how to live, and we do learn from them many at times.
Right.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Next, we will come to a very amazing personality, Nilmal Shah sir. We had an informal little introduction, but still I introduce him. Sir is the co-founder of Counting Well, a maths learning app for middle schoolers. Their goal is to make maths learning easy, anxiety-free, and participative for children across the country. Their focus is to help the so-called average students become more confident with maths and develop great problem-solving skills. They step in where school teachers are not able to provide personalized attention due to lack of time and bandwidth. Sir is also a designing career person and has a saying that life lesson courses for 10 to 14 years of age that are built around mathematics, whatever courses they have developed. His concept about the courses is that kids must know that maths better and told that I met him one of the show and he told me about counting well. I was really amazed and it came into my mind. It came into my mind that this is a very important topic. The problem which always had been there at our times and is still now and will keep on going. So how can, because the theme of the show is S.S.Chandhok talk show is that we bring into those topics which are very relevant or directly related to the students. So I requested Nilma sir to come for a few shows and as an expert and guide us that how can we remove these type of problems which are facing. Although maths is not a difficult, what we say is the maths is the easiest subject. How we can make that, what are the causes of these which we'll be discussing, and also the remedies, what is actually needed, that how our schools or we all can remove this phobia amongst the math students. Nirmal sir, welcome. There's lot of things to say about you and your counting well, but I'll give over the again you will say that you have spoken everything and you're not letting me do anything. So sir, first of all, please tell it about yourself. How did it came to your brilliant mind? Again, I'm telling you people that when I'm inviting to the principals for this topic, when maths come into that, the principals, they run away. They say, we'll love to come to your show, but maths, I'm so sorry, I cannot do justice. That is not my subject. So there it comes into our mind, we are not going to make you do mathematics question. We are principals. We have to discuss about everything. We are only talking about the causes and remedies over here. What are the problems and how can we remove that? We don't have to have an expertise in mathematics. And there are also certain principals who had that courage, that because in my childhood I had that phobia, I do want to attend the session and want to understand that how can I remove this phobia amongst my students. So when they came into the show and they came to know about now, because of, as we know, that the only positivity about pandemic was that this technology came 10 years before it had to come. And although Nirmal sir was working before pandemic, but that accelerator was given to the technology right now, so people are accepting it very easily, which was on a very slow pace. So when I came to know about this, that these things are also there, we can help the children. So I requested sir to come over here and tell us. Neighbor sir, first of all, neither English nor other SST, science or whatever, it came into your mind which principles able to get feared mathematics, and that too from the middle school. So what was in your mind actually with coming up to the mathematics, And again, not from the very starting or from the board classes, from the middle school. And what is a little brief about counting well also.
Sure, sir. Thank you for that very gracious introduction. I think you've said more things about me than anybody else has ever done that. Uh, so it's always been great coming to your show and interacting with such eminent people, and it's wonderful being able to help children and teachers go through this journey. So why we started counting well? Uh, I would not say it was a specific reason, but one of the things that triggered it or triggered the idea behind counting well was when I saw my own son get into middle school. This was about 5 years, 6 years back, and I could see the change in his attitude towards maths, especially forget other subjects, but I could see that especially towards mathematics, there was a big change in the attitude. Earlier, he used to get very excited when he came home. The first thing he would do is have a glass of milk and start doing his homework, open the books, and he's studying. And sixth grade onwards, of course, there are also other things. Children start developing and all the hormones start acting and all that stuff happens. But at the same time, I could see that that excitement and enthusiasm was starting to wane. And we tried to understand what is really going on. Is this his problem, or are other children having this kind of problem? And of course, we looked at other kids of his age group, his cousins, and so on. And we saw that a lot of kids are kind of going through a similar phase. And then I talked with my friend, who's now my co-founder here, and we talked about it. Ki, what really is going on? Is there something that we can find out, right? And we come from a software IT background, and we said, can we create some kind of a software which will help us determine what is causing these children to lose that enthusiasm? And first, we did an analysis to identify how these kids solve maths problems. And what we realized is that there are two aspects. One, of course, you need to know the concepts that are covered in that maths problem, and you need to have that number ability to manipulate the numbers or operate on the numbers. But the second part is also that they need to be able to understand the problem first. And from sixth grade onwards, you start seeing that they have word problems, and there is a mix of concepts which starts happening. So it's not simply, multiply these two numbers or subtract these two numbers, or what is the place value of a certain number, right? That's no more the kind of question that they get. They start having word problems. They try to combine multiple concepts. So they have to understand the problem. Then they have to kind of model a solution. So they have to know that I will use this concept in first step, I will use some other concept in second step, and that's how I will actually solve the problem before they jump into actual number operation. And what we saw was that the kids typically jumped into number operation straight away instead of trying to understand the problem. So then we said, okay, so now we have some kind of a framework to design this kind of assessment which will tell us where these kids are lacking or what are the problems that they are having. So we created this kind of assessment. We took it to some schools. About 1,500 students at that time took our pilot assessment, so to speak. And what we found was that comprehension was a big problem. Language was the biggest barrier to learning mathematics. This was our first learning that came out of the whole story, right? And then we found that also that when it comes to the focus in the classroom, the teachers don't focus on language because language is not my problem as a maths teacher. It is the language teacher's problem. Second problem is that the teachers don't focus on modeling as a way of thinking. So what we realize is that, the children have to start thinking about the problem solving process, right? Their thought process itself should be like that, but that was not what is happening. Instead of that, usually the teacher writes a solution on the board, children copy the answer, and then they try to replicate the same way of solving the problem with other problems that they have in the textbook. It may or may not work. Usually it does not work, especially when they go home and try to do it on their own. They feel confident that they have solved it, but they're actually not able to solve the problems because they don't focus on the thought process. They only focus on step one, step two, step three, what is written on the board. As long as I've copied it exactly, I'm fine, right? So these are the things that we found. So we took all these results back to the principals of the schools where we did these pilots, and they said, all this is fine. this problem has always existed. We know about all this. Now give us a solution. So that was the actual start of counting well, because then we realized that we can't simply point the problem and give it to you and say that here is the problem, now you guys solve it. We have to actually be a part of the solution as well. So that's how we created Counting Well as a solution which can help identify these learning gaps and then create this kind of a personalized learning path for the child. So every child, then we determine that if your problem is modeling, then let us help you attack that problem. If your problem is language comprehension, let us help you with that. If your problem is that you don't even know the concept, let's first start there and then take you to modeling, comprehension, and all those kind of things. So that's how the whole Counting Well solution was created.
So that incident also, that when you went to the schools, you found that the teachers were not able to solve even
Yeah.
the
So
sixth.
that was very interesting, right? So one of the things that happened is that the principal said, "Can you give the same test to the teachers? Can you assess our teachers as well?" And about 15 teachers or so, they took this assessment. And what we found is one of the teachers called me and said that you have given me a sixth grade problem, but I am an eighth grade teacher, so I cannot solve this problem. I don't take this topic, which was very shocking to us because, especially looking at it from outside, we know that mathematics is like a chain, right? What you learn in fifth goes to sixth and seventh and eighth and so on. So why would a teacher bring this kind of a hurdle into, it is a hurdle into her teaching itself. Forget about this assessment, because if the teacher does not know what is being taught in the eighth grade, then how will the teacher assist the child if the child has this same problem? So this was a very interesting aspect that we found. So what we built into the Counting Well solution was also that we determine if the child who is solving an eighth grade problem is not able to solve it because they don't know a seventh grade concept. And if they don't know that, then we go one more step back and say, okay, so is this because a sixth grade concept is not known to the child? So we test them on the prior knowledge, help them fill that gap, and then come back forward. Because we realize that this is something which the teachers are not able to do. You can say it's because of lack of time or lack of knowledge or the vastness of the syllabus, whatever, right? But given all these constraints, then we have to solve this problem as well. So because of this situation that we faced, we brought this concept into our solution as well.
This is what I was going to ask you, sir, because during the pandemic 2 years, the children, they had given the exams from their home through Google Baba. So maths was also being done through that also. All the other subjects, they can be taken care of again, but mathematics gap had occurred throughout the year, throughout these 2 years, because a middle schooler who had been who had to be in grade 8 right now did not get mathematics in grade 6 and 7. So the wonderful thing you told that that when a topic is given to a child of grade 8, he is not able to do, then he's given of 7th class of the same level of the same chapter. And if he's not able to do it, will be given to him for the 6th one. Then he will make himself okay with the 6th one. Then he'll come up to 7th again, and then he'll come up to 8th, and that will make him again stand in front of the class that where he had to be. So and a very good thing about these type of things is that it is one-to-one. Children, they do not, they hesitate, they do not ask questions in the class कि सब मेरा मजाक उड़ाएंगे मम्मा, मैं नहीं स्कूल उसने पूछूंगा, सब उड़ाते कि तुम कितने बेवकूफ हो, तुमको नहीं आता है. So that fear is among, अब हम लोग तो अपने टाइम में तो बिल्कुल कुछ पता ही नहीं होता था. वो मतलब वो बिल्कुल जैसे इस टाइप के क्या हो जाएगा, व्हाट मतलब बातें भी नहीं दिमाग में आती थी, पूछ लेते थे. तो but now children, they take a most care of that, and that is because of this, the learning gap is happening with all the subjects almost. And mathematics is that the more the gap, the more the problem. And maths is very important for their career for sure. And mathematics is everywhere. With the housewife also, when she is cooking, mathematics applies there even. So this happens is that these type of AI based app, there the child can study according to his comfort. First of all, anytime, 24/7. And he sees that is one-to-one. Nobody's looking at me. Nobody's going to tease me or something like that. And whatever I'm doing wrong, I'll come to know through the app. And that error, I can rectify myself. And when he's doing this, he's coming back to the school next day. Again, he's up with the level of the class. And that is very important, because the teacher comes to know after 3 months or 4 months, and maybe many times after the session, your child is not doing well in mathematics, is not good at mathematics. Parents also come and they say, my child is average or below average. So I do ask them, is he slow in this one, mobile? No, उसमें तो बहुत अच्छा है. तो I say, if अगर वो बेवकूफ होता है, average या below average होता है, तो इसमें भी तो होता है. So that means he doesn't has interest in the studies. So how can we create interest amongst the students like this? So thanks to technology, हमारे टाइम में तो सब होता नहीं था. सिर्फ एक वो बॉयज स्कूल था मिशनरी, और वो केन रखते थे और पढ़ती थी बड़ी कस-कस के. तो अब तो you can't say anything. And the students have also become very smart. Thank you, Nirmal sir. Wonderful thing you have brought up for the education industry, because I had been seeing so many apps are coming so for many subjects, robotics and this and that and English and that. And you had the courage of bringing up mathematics, which had been phobia of so many people. Although I had mathematics till grade 12th, I was a commerce student, but still it always had been a phobia of mathematics. And of course, it also depends upon the teacher also. If the teacher is very good, if children love you, they will love your subject even. But how that love you have to create amongst the student, that is very important. This is what we have to discuss. Thank you so much, Limba sir, for coming once again. We'll come up to the next part, the suggestion round or the question round. Savita ma'am, I'll come up to you. We want to like your views on the saying that mathematics becomes a phobia in middle school instead of fun. What are the reasons behind it or causes behind it?
I think Nirmal ji has already spoken all the surveys, whatever he has done and he has found. These are the major thing. What he has already answered this question, I hope, that what are the reasons of phobia? Because they don't know the content. And the most important thing is this, that even if we are talking to the teachers, I usually do it in my workshops and ask the teachers of different schools and find out. My first question is always this, that what do you teach? You teach the curriculum or you teach the students? So most of them raise their hands that curriculum. Of course, they are bound to do the things in a limited time. So they are supposed to reach them afterwards before they go to the completion of the syllabus. So this is one of the important issue to be discussed on these kinds of platforms, that why do we always focus that child is not able to do, this is the problem. Why don't we find this as a big platform for the teachers to discuss out how teachers are to be trained for all these things? Only see, Nirmal ji is one of the good teacher in maths. That's why he has undergone all these processes and he has understood that yes, a teacher has to understand if 6th class concept is also not clear, the why the child is there in 7th now. So he has to see these things. And a wonderful example he has given, that 8th class teacher, this is very true. It happens if you give something to a teacher, the syllabus she is not teaching, she is also reacting as if she is a student and she is unable to. So if these kinds of scenarios are going on in the schools, so this phobia is actually becoming contagious. It is going on. Teacher herself is having a fear and she is passing on the fear. I know that I am not a man of maths, but I have trained many teachers by telling stories and telling them that, okay, this problem can be solved in this way. And you should actually, the whole thing is this, that why phobia is there and what are the steps. Nirmal ji has already set the stage, and answers and questions, both the things were there, and intermingled answer comes in. We come across that students always say that I want to take science, but I want to take biology because I don't like maths. So this is what I said. If you don't like maths, how would you go for science? Physics is also maths. So how would you do it if you don't have the concept? Even today, I come across with this kind of conversation with a girl who was getting good marks in MCQs of first term, but she says, I don't like maths. I said, why do you say I don't like? All 5 subjects are to be liked by you equally. Don't compare any subject with any other one and say that I am weak at maths, I cannot do it. Probably she has taken those things from the parents, which has come out that you will not be able to do maths, take bio. And then peer pressure is there, where children always feel that my friends can do, I cannot. Or maybe this peer pressure is this, that my friend has taken maths, so I will also do, but I know internally that I don't have the knowledge of going into it. So these kinds of simple things are there, which are rather, we put words in their mouth, what I feel. They may be very simply doing maths till 5th. And as soon as they come to 6th, they feel now the teacher will change, the other teacher will come, the board will be rubbed, I have to be quick in matching out the teacher's hand or something like that. So they are actually focused to complete the curriculum, which is absolutely wrong. So individual attention, what Nirmalji has seen, and he has made out what's a wonderful thing, where, and this is very true, that individually, if they are going to mind themselves, the fear will go away very soon, because they are not exposed to the class, and everybody is not being bullied in the class. Teachers are also sometimes says, "Tumhare bas ka nahi hai." What is it?
Right.
So this is
Savita ma'am, I'll interrupt. First of all, the mentality of the teachers have to be changed,
yes,
for sure.
it has to.
And for that, and on or your behalf, I'm asking a question to Nirmal sir. Nirmal sir, do you give training to the teachers also for this of the schools?
So very interesting thing happened, sir, just last week. So there was one of the schools in Chandigarh. In fact, the principal was part of one of the shows earlier as well. And she had asked me to come over, and I could not go because I had some other travel in the south. So my National Academic Head, Services Head, he went there. And she had asked me, we want to know about your product. We want to show our teachers your product and all that, so that we can consider implementing in our school. And she asked me, how much time are you guys going to need to do this whole demonstration? And we said, it'll take about 45 minutes, right? So उन्होंने भी 45 minutes का preparation किया था. This was last week, so the school is starting only this week, so they still had some time, but the teachers were already in the school. So he went there, and the session lasted for 2.5 hours. Because what happened was, one, the teachers got very interested, right? That is the first and most important part of the whole thing, that personal interest has to be there. But the second, I think what started coming out as part of that whole conversation is that we started talking about how actually formative assessments happen in real life. How do you actually replicate that using technology? What are the hurdles that the teachers face when they try to do a formative assessment? Because we talk a lot of theory, right? Today, if you see, you will find a lot of courses which talk about assessment for learning, formative assessments, but to actually implement that in the classroom is a problem, because in 40 minutes, what can you do? Can you finish the syllabus, or can you do these formative assessments forever? So that whole conversation went around that. How do we actually execute this in the classroom? How do we get the data out? How do we use this? How do we actually turn this? So I would not say that we provide training to teachers as to how to teach. That's not our job, right? But this whole conversation around implementing this process, right? I would not even say implementing Counting Well as an app or as a platform, but putting that whole process together, I would say that that's an immense training for the teachers. It just changes the way they think about how to look at the child in the class, how to understand whether the child understands or not, right? And then how to take action on that. And that becomes a very important aspect of implementing any of this kind of technology. Otherwise, it just becomes a tick mark कि हमारी school में technology implement हो रही है. That's not the point, right? The point is that you want to achieve benefit of that for the school, for the teachers, for the children. So getting through this whole process, implementing this whole process, and going through it with us for that period of time is like a whole training program by itself. So I didn't answer your question. No, we don't give training, but going through this, I think it changes the whole mindset of the teacher.
Mindset changing, yes, that's true.
That is very important, because what I have felt while you were talking, that teachers can teach in the class, then they can give the assessment as an homework. The students can do it on the app, and when they'll do it, The data will come up, where the data will come up to the teachers will be, they'll come to know where is the gap, what is the problem with the student, basically where they are lacking. And student themselves doing it again and again, they get it improved through app, as well as the teacher also come to know where the student is lacking. That way, that learning gap is being done, as well as whatever the teacher is leading. Teachers then want to take up some methods, but again the problem is कि 40 minutes के period में 40 students में either we'll do up with the curriculum or we'll do up with the assessment and all. So gradually with this technology, it helps the students and the teachers. The ready-made answers, the ready-made correction is given to the teachers that no, this is there where the child is lacking. Again, they come up with the remedial classes or whatever it is, and they can improve the maths level. So, sir, you are coming up with other things also, because children now, again after pandemic, it is a problem. Children don't want to pick up the books. Reading to bilkul khatam ho gayi hai. So now whatever way they want to study, because e-books have come now, listening and whatever it is coming. So how it is helping the students to work? Is it removing the role of the teacher, or teacher role is always there?
No, teacher role can never be removed. I don't think that is either practical, possible, or that should even be attempted for that matter, right? Teacher's role, I would say that the way we see Counting Well is that teacher's role is to teach, and our role is to, one, give the teacher the right tools and the right data to assist them, and second, help build confidence in the child. So while the teacher is constantly teaching, we also have to make sure that the child's confidence in being able to learn, become a self-learner, and to be able to keep solving these problems and feel that, yes, I can do it, is something that we have to constantly do that, right? It's something that you cannot do by one pep talk. उसको हमें reinforce करते रहना पड़ता है. So, and that is something which teacher will not have the time or energy to do it day in and day out. So that's where the complementary role of the app or technology comes in. Teacher will teach, and the technology will then keep building that confidence, keep reiterating, reinforcing to the child. And that way it becomes like, cycle ke do pahiye.
Absolutely right, sir, because building up the confidence of the child, that is the most important thing. If he has this confidence, because usually we have seen in the classes, the first 3-4 children, they are taking interest in the mathematics class, but the rest of them at the back, just they are sleeping with open eyes, because it is in their mind कि maths तो मुझे समझ में नहीं आने वाली है, and that becomes a phobia. And if the interest is over there that yes, I'll be able to do, then only anything can happen. Teachers can do anything into that. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, sir. We'll come up to Neeru ma'am. Neeru ma'am, we want to know your opinion about why do middle school students lose interest in mathematics?
Yeah, sure. Good evening once again to all of you. So when I was listening to you, I was remembering one of the training sessions which I received quite early in my career. I was working as a spoken English instructor around 2003, and one of my teacher trainers came and she was training me. She gave me one example, and I think this is quite applicable to today's concept in a far more pronounced way. So she said, जब आप पढ़ा रहे हो तो ये समझो कि बच्चा ऐसे आपकी फिंगर में फिंगर डाल के चल रहा है, आपने उसकी उंगली पकड़ी और बच्चा आपके साथ चल रहा है. तो जैसे ही आप बोल रहे हो और बच्चा हाँ हाँ कर रहा है, तो समझो कि वो उंगली आपके हाथ में है, और जहां वो उंगली छूटी और आपने उससे पूछना बंद किया, वहीं वो बच्चा आपसे पीछे छूट गया. So I think this concept is applicable in mathematics in a more pronounced way, because as Mr. Nirmal was saying, that it is a kind of string, it's a kind of step, first step, second step, third step, fourth step, fifth step. So if you are not able to do well on step 1, if you're not able to do on step 2, step 3, then you will not be able to reach on step 4 and 5 successfully. And then it means that the child has already lost the hand of the teacher, and we now need to bring that child back, and this is the only way of building confidence in children. Having said that, I would also say that this is happening because we already mentioned that parents are having that phobia in their mind. I remember as a parent, when I joined as a principal in one of the schools, so my CEO asked me, okay, we want to do a boundary wall for the school. Tell us what is going to be the budget for that. So I remember that I found out the perimeter, and that day I actually realized the difference between area and perimeter. So I did it with my own hand. So I believe that function is actually functional education is actually missing from the middle school. So we are doing that till class primary. Those are happy schools. The moment children are into class 6, 7th and 8th, the concepts are becoming bigger and they are becoming more functional, and there is a disconnect between the concept and their application. So I think that is the
Right.
most important thing which where we need to focus, and that is why children are lacking in trust.
Right, ma'am. Absolutely right, ma'am. Nirmal sir, you heard, ma'am, Niru, ma'am, that when the management told her that we want to build a wall during the boundary for the boundary, so she came to know what is the difference between perimeter and area. The practical approach in simple language, you can say. So how this thing have you added up in counting well?
So
And
what?
give some examples also, sir, please.
Absolutely, sir. So, and this is something that we also saw, right? So we keep talking about higher order thinking skills or HOTS, but when we try to actually implement that, one, it is very difficult to implement because it needs a lot of imagination. Okay. And second, you also have to be able to guide the child for achieving that level of thinking, right? So what we did was, for example, one of the things which we have done is we have created what we call as a monthly maths marathon. So every month we have a competition on the Counting Well app. So all our users, basically all the children, they participate in this competition. And what we do is every month we take one chapter of their class and ask them to compete on questions which are being asked. So basically it's a quiz on that chapter, right? And we not try to follow the syllabus structure. So, first in June we did the first chapter, now we'll do second, and so on. So what we did there was we started creating these kind of higher order thinking kind of questions. So for example, one of the question that we did was when children were trying to learn about integers, the question was about atoms. And we said that there are atoms and there is an electron, there is a proton, and one electron goes away, what happens? Now, one is that they have to start thinking about outside of mathematics in the first, right? They have to start thinking कि ये atom यहाँ कहाँ से आ गए, ये तो maths का competition है. So first we want them to think on those lines. So even the first question that they get is not about a math operation at all. We try to ask them, have they even understood what is being presented to them, right? And this is typically what you would simulate in the classroom as well. If you had 2-3 kids and put them in a group, you say, one of you say, what is this question? Second, you say, what is the information available to you? Third, you say, what information will you use to solve the problem? And then finally solve the problem. So we started putting questions in that form. Now, what really happened is that, and kids actually got the answers, which was very interesting for us, right? Because what we realize is that the kids do have that higher order thinking ability. It is not that they don't have the ability, it is only that they have to be guided. And second, we start relating it to these kind of concepts. So, what we were saying, what Savita ma'am said, that ki physics में भी maths तो होता है, तो आप ये बोलोगे कि I won't take maths and I will take biology, it doesn't mean that you can do science without mathematics, right? So there, when you say that here is atoms, here are neutrons, here are protons, here are electrons, and this is the math involved. Now, if you remove 2 electrons, is the charge positive or negative, right? So that is where the concept of integers comes in, but you are relating it to what you're using in chemistry. So that's one of the aspects. The other thing that we have done is we've started creating all these courses. So there is a course on financial literacy for middle school children. There is another on data science for middle school children, where we show them that all the data handling that you are learning in school, you learn about charts, you learn about graphs, you learn about frequency tables, you learn about probability. All of this is actually the foundation for data science. So how can we put all of this together and show you how data science really works? So in that course, the kind of examples we have created is that there is a cricket match and India and Australia are playing the match, and usually India wins 7 out of 10 matches on this pitch. Now you tell us what is the possibility of India winning the match. So now probability comes into play, right? Then we say that today the temperature is 32 degrees and humidity is 75%. If the humidity reaches this, it is likely to rain. When it rains, the probability changes to this. Okay. Now we ask other questions saying that if the temperature goes up, what will happen? If the humidity increases, what will happen? They're using concept of temperature, humidity, percentages, ratios. They're using probability, all of this without knowing that they are doing mathematics, because they're doing cricket. right? So the idea is that we show them all these concepts in a very different light. We show them how it relates to things like data science, which is what they will use throughout their life, right? And again, if I go back to even the whole idea of these formative assessments that we do and we give data to teacher, there is so much data which becomes available to them. They have to be able to analyze this data, which is where again this whole concept of data science and data analytics comes in, right? So how do we show them that there is math involved? All the math that you are learning is very important. It will be useful to you when you do these kind of things, and ultimately data is very important. You will use it throughout your life. Things like probability, basic concepts, right? We are not talking about calculus, we are not talking about trigonometry even, forget it, you're not building bridges. But at least these basic concepts in financial literacy, we show them that if you do compound interest, you have learned compound interest, very good. Now do you know that if you compound every quarter, then you will earn more interest as compared to compounding every year, and you will earn even less interest if you are only getting simple interest, right? Basic things, if you learn this, then you will actually be using these concepts in your life to grow your wealth. It's very important. So we link mathematics with all these concepts, so that's how we put all of this together into more practical aspects of mathematics as well.
That is more important, sir. Practical aspect is important, because as we take example again and again, that suppose a greenwasser is coming in your lane and is illiterate, but when you're asking him different things with different quantities, within few seconds he'll tell you that how much money you have to pay. At the very same time, when you're putting up a question in a word problem to a child, he will start using the formula. That only I remember one formula only. He knows that a plus b whole square is equal to a square plus b square plus 2ab. But how this has been derived, why I'm using this concept is not clear. Why are you using it? Because sir has told us, ma'am has told us. So here the thing is, illiterate person maths is much better than a child, because that conceptual, that fact, or is not given to him with the real life. That connection with the real life is not given to him. So it is very good thing university have told us that your mathematics way of teaching through the AI based app is that it goes along with the real life things also, with examples also. That is more important, because at the very same time when he's doing this, he's enjoying it, and after doing this, he's coming to know that I have come to understand about this particular chapter and topic also. वो उसको पहले पता चल जाता है कि मैं सीखने वाला हूँ तो नहीं आने वाला है, लेकिन जब वो कर लेता है उसको समझ में आता है कि that I am able to do it now. Now when he'll come up to his book again or whatever it is, he'll understand that this is peanuts. I'm going to do it very fast. I remember I had been an accountancy teacher, and in 11th accountancy is the new subject. The first question of the child, especially with the girl children, it's always there. Sir, is accountancy difficult? We have come to know. So I do tell them that beta, accountancy and mathematics, they are the easiest subjects on the earth. Well, for each and every question, the answer is different. But in mathematics and accountancy, there are certain concepts. आप दुनिया भर के कोई भी क्वेश्चन ले आओ, उस concept पे चलेगा. So what is easy? You can understand that. So again, the problem is when we come up to the middle school, parents pressure, now maths is going to be difficult for you. Practice करनी पड़ेगी बेटा रोज. Teacher, oh, बहुत सारे exercises हैं, देख लो कैसे कर पाओगे. And now maths is going to be a very difficult thing for me. So जैसे कहते हैं ना, we are going to a hospital, doctor says, oh, nothing has happened to you, छोटा सा ही है. So 90% you are cured there. So 90% cured or 50% आप उसने उल्टा बोल दिया आपको. So this is happening with the teachers, because they make it very difficult. The parents, the society, or you can say the stakeholders pressure, that is a big thing also, which contributes to the phobia of mathematics. Thank you so much, sir. We will come up to Swati ma'am. Swati ma'am, suggest few ways in which a teacher can make maths more interesting.
Maths anxiety basically does not mean that you do not have ability to perform mathematics. Mathematics is basically like English grammar. If we give them a definition and then we ask them to solve it, it becomes difficult. Whereas simply explore them, give them have, has, had, and then tell them, prepare it. Children will automatically know. Whereas if you provide a format, if you provide a formula and then ask students to apply it, it is tedious job for the students. I believe in straightway providing the hand-on activities. Use a class door. Teach children angles using it. give them the ground or take them to the swimming pool. Ask children to measure length and breadth, and then this is how take out perimeter. Take children to the school kitchen and then ask them what is the consumption of the milk over here per day. Taking them or giving them some props in their hand and then asking the students to find out the volume, length, breadth, height. Children will never know that they are doing mathematics. For them, it is a game. And then they are doing different activities, and this is how they are learning different concepts and different topics that the teacher is willing to teach in the classroom. So gamification in maths, giving them the stories. Just before this show, when I was waiting for a show, I just came up with the song, Char Kadam Bas Char Kadam Chal Do Na Saath Mere. And then I got that in my mind that in the junior grades, if we ask them, Char Kadam, Char Kadam, Char Kadam, we are singing a song, and then this is how we can narrate a table of 4. Children will sing. And they are going to add on char, 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 and we are singing a song. So these interactive ways can be inculcated, incorporated into the classroom. I think so children will never know that this is the topic, like it becomes a taboo in the family itself. Telling them, practice maths daily for 2 hours, and then it becomes like a phobia. Oh my God, maths is very difficult subject. To bring children out of this shell, I think so the teacher and the schools should promote these kind of activities. We can tell them the stories, the visual ads can be given, like the diagrams, or providing them the scale and then asking them to measure something. The children will be doing it using technology. It can basically broaden the perspective of the students. Engaging the student, that is again very important. In between, instead of asking them to solve mathematics only and only in the notebook or on the board, the teacher teaches them one solution and then they are asked to solve 5. Instead of going for that monotonous process, if the children are divided into the groups and we ask them to explore the projects are given, you solve it. The children are hand holding each other, helping each other, and then the peer learning is happening in the class, and then they come up with the solution. Sir, this group is ready, and then they are presenting the task what has been assigned by the teacher. I think so these interesting ways can really help children come up out of that phobia. Providing them some real life objects, taking them to the football ground and then asking the children, explore this, measure it, and then get it done. The solution to your problem. The physical involvement, like the yoga poses, inculcating different subjects into the mathematics, and then we can ask them different yoga poses. Children are learning different angles, different poses, the circle, the hemisphere, everything can be taught, and children do not even know that they are studying mathematics, writing stories on maths, acting skits on maths about the maths concept. I think these things will really help children to come out of the phobia that they have. We can also have the scavenger hunt in mathematics to teach geometric shapes and patterns. The triangles can be given in their hands while measuring the scalene and isosceles triangle, or measuring different angles, or while having the comparison between the angle. The project can be given into the children's hand, and then we can also come up with the activities like think, pair, and then share. The children can also come up with their own videos, and then those videos can be uploaded on Instagram, and the teacher goes on Instagram and there the teacher is posting, and this is how we can make mathematics interesting. So, and then if we start addressing children's issues into the class itself promptly, that also will boost confidence of children. Integrating maths with music can be a best tool. Taking them to the garden, giving them different plants, and then teaching few things. So that can be used as teaching aids, applying lessons to life, like 1 liter of milk cost this much, and if we consume 52 liters of milk, how much of the milk did we use today? child does not know what are they doing. So I think so from grade 6 upwards also, the mathematics will not become a phobia for the students. Rather, they will still have the same feel what they had in grade 3 and 5, because the children start growing and then they start developing pressure on in their mind, and that basically becomes problem in mathematics, that children start losing interest.
Right,
Whereas in the childhood, it was very easy.
right, ma'am. Right,
So
ma'am. You're
here the
absolutely right.
concept
So many,
was,
yeah. There are many ways, a lot of good ways you have told us that how we can make maths more interesting. For sure. Thank you so much, ma'am. Nirmal sir, again up to you, because a lot of wonderful things, ma'am, have Swati ma'am have told that how we can make mathematics. But practically, I think you will also believe that it is always a problem or a question of a teacher that in 40 minutes or 40 class on so many exercises, because till 5 these type of things are very good for the children because the syllabus is less. All of a sudden when the chapters increase 3 to 4 or 5 exercises each chapter, it becomes up the brings up the load of the teacher also. How how this combination of whatever ma'am has suggested, because practically the teacher physically cannot do all these things, cannot take to the kitchen, cannot take to the garden, cannot take everywhere. वो कहेगा जब हम उसको वहीं पे सबको लेके जाएंगे तो हम क्लास कब लेंगे, and I have only 6 to 8 periods in a week. That is also a big problem. But these things are practically very good for the children even. So how is these type of apps like Counting Well, they are helping the teachers to combine both the things, the teaching as well as these practical approach, which Swati ma'am has beautifully explained, can integrate them. And like we say, when technology comes into being, you can reach everywhere. आप हर जगह घूम के आ सकते हो बिना कहीं गए. So how it is helping it in your app, sir?
So, obviously, one of the things is that there is a lot of simulation that we can do, right? So, for example, if you are talking about, going to the kitchen and showing them that these are the different proportions when you are cooking something, instead of simply writing it down, you can show it to them in a video. Of course, I would not say that this is the best solution, because it is always better if you actually do it yourself. तो अगर हम बच्चों को बोलें कि आप चाय बनाओ, and you say that you have to have, let's say, about 40% water and 60% milk, या किसी को ज्यादा water चाहिए तो उसका क्या करोगे? So those kind of things of course make a big difference, because then you have to think more practically. But at the same time, what can be done is that through the app, for example, we create these kind of situations for children, so it becomes very interactive for children when they are learning in the app. So there is always a question answer. Now, the other obvious constraint that the teacher has in the classroom is that teacher cannot ask the question to every child in every period in the class, right? But in the app, what we have done, for example, is that if you're learning, let's say, triangles, we show a picture of a samosa and say, what shape does this remind you of? And you cannot move forward unless you answer that question. Now, what is happening here is that one, every child has to answer, obviously. And second, we, instead of just giving that information to the child, we start making the child think. The child is actually participating in that whole learning process. So, going back to the point which Swati ma'am was trying to make, which is that the learning process has to be participative, right? The child has to actually participate rather than being in the audience. वो क्लास में बैठ के मूवी भी देख सकते हैं, वही होता है, टीचर सिखा रही है बोर्ड पे, वो भी वैसा ही है. So what is the difference? The difference is that the child has to be made to interact, right? And that's where that learning happens. So we have simulated that kind of process in the app as well. So there the child is actually going back and forth answering questions and not moving forward before they answer the question. So that way they are always participating in that whole learning, and they feel that we have discovered something, right? Rather than saying that you have just learned it by reading. Now their feeling is that I have learned something new on my own, rather than somebody telling me what has been learned. So that's the difference that we create.
Yes, absolutely right, sir. Because before pandemic, when these all smart classes came, so when a first generation learner or the parents had to be explained about it. तो he was saying कि आप ये बताइए कि अगर आप कुछ रामायण या महाभारत पढ़ते हैं, पढ़ने की जगह उसको आप जो वीडियो में रमानंद सागर की आती थी, इसमें टीवी में आती थी, जल्दी कौन सी समझ में आई? कहते जो विजुअलाइज ऑडियो विजुअल दोनों में थी. तो वी से दिस इज द कंसेप्ट, लाइक इट हैज बिकम वेरी कॉमन नाउ एज ऑफ नाउ, कि ऑडियो विजुअल में जब बच्चा देखता है, लाइक यू गिव एन एग्जांपल कि समोसा लिया, तो प्रैक्टिकली उसने देखा है समोसा कैसा है, उसका ऐसे है, उसका 3 कॉर्नर्स हैं, he really correlates with everything when we take the practical approach. So obviously when the audio visual learning is being given to the child, it becomes more effective and it goes into his mind very straight away. वो कहते हैं ना कि आपको क्या दिख रहा है, तो अर्जुन वाली बात होती है कि मुझे सिर्फ चिड़िया की आंख दिख रही है. तो when this thing happens with every child, so that goes into his mind practically. This is the concept of this. The logic behind this thing is this. So when logic comes into his mind that this is being used, but why this is being used, why this is clear, that the maths becomes very interesting for the kids for sure. And very, very good thing, sir, that that's practical approach you're taking. Like Swati ma'am said, we should teach this, we should teach that this way and that way. So when we are showing it, audio visually to the students in the app, like you have on all, so that becomes very easy for child to understand, and also for the teacher, so that within that stipulated time, what he's having 6 to 8 minutes in a week, because the other subjects also have to go on. So
Right.
there he is able to accommodate. But 24/7 learning goes actually 24/7. It's not only 8 periods in a week, 24/7. And that is the collaboration of the teacher and the students. Teacher becomes a facilitator at that time, because the student, rest of the work he does, and in fraction of second, the report comes up. You told us also, sir, that WhatsApp also we have created, where the report is coming instead of app also, it is coming up to the WhatsApp group also.
Yeah. So what we found is that there is obviously this other hurdle which teachers face, which is that after having completed the whole day of teaching, they also have to do the administrative task of assigning the homework, creating questions, correcting the homework, all of that, right? So, and even if we bring technology, they still have to go log in somewhere and do some work extra, right? So how do we help them overcome that barrier? So we did 2 things. One, that this whole story which I've been talking about, formative assessments and the skills around comprehension modeling, how do we package it into something very simple for the teachers? So what we did was we said that we will create a homework module. So when the teacher looks at it, it is as if the teacher is assigning a homework to the children. When the children do this work at home on their own, 2 things happen. One, that as the child is solving these problems, there is a process or there is a flow for solving the problem. So it kind of starts affecting that child's mindset as to how the problems have to be solved. The second, as they answer questions wrongly, we correct them, we give them that remedial right there. But at the same time, we also capture the data as to whether it was a skill gap or a concept gap which occurred because of which the child answered the question wrongly. And that data is now available to the teacher. So for the teacher, it's very simple. Teacher assigns the homework. They don't have to create the questions. They don't have to correct the answers, right? That administrative task is taken away. They just get the report back. Then the next thing came that they have to log in and download the report and all that. So we simplified that also. What we have done now is that teacher gets a WhatsApp message which says your next homework is ready. Do you want to assign the homework? They just tap assign homework on WhatsApp. They pick the chapter, they pick sub concepts if there is specific concept they want to test on, and say assign homework to children of my class. And the kids get the homework on the app. When they finish the homework, another WhatsApp message goes with the report. So now the teacher does not even have to log into a system and try to do all of this, right? All they do is simply look at their WhatsApp messages, whether they are, traveling, commuting to school or back. They can just look at all of this and, their work is done. So basically, that whole effort which is involved, the administrative effort which is involved, we have tried to reduce all of that.
That's wonderful, sir. It gives a lot of help to the teachers that their work also logging in and checking into all the reports of the students automatically comes into WhatsApp. That makes it more easy for the teachers to understand where's the learning gap happening and where they have to work on for. Although you are also working, because when the child is doing wrong, you're correcting it and telling him. But again, the teacher is also able to understand where he has to focus for the students. Thank you so much, sir.
Right to this also, right? That normally if you tell them that you go download the report, then वो थोड़ा आलस आता है बीच में कि
Right.
Now you are not asking you to download, you are getting the report, right? So, report is there in front of you. At least dekh to lo. That's how it is.
Well, that makes it very easy, saves the time. Right, sir. Thank you so much, sir. We'll come up to the next round. We'll make it a little easy and earlier also. We are in shortage of time. Savita ma'am, I'll come up to you. Please, as a senior principal, please suggest us some ways in which the teachers can make maths more interesting.
I think Swati has already given a lot of activities, but I was to just add that the new NEP is also telling us to integrate the subjects, as art integration word has been always, there was a misconception earlier. People thought that art integration means to integrate art only, but it is not only drawing, it is not only art. All the artistic things, what a child learns and try to be happy in those things is art. As I would appreciate my experience of having a child who has made a rap song for maths things also, and he has done it for laws of motion in physics in class 12th. So it was a wonderful concept which has come up in the corona period itself, when children were told to do the things and made some videos on these activities. So he has made it. He is a rapper. He writes rap, but he's a very I must say that the topic of the day is going on with that child, that he is having a phobia of maths and physics and all such things. But when he made this rap, it was a marvelous thing, and he became the hero of the class. So after that, when he just appeared in front of me once, and I said that you have really made this concept of pandemic, that it's a 0 year, you have made it a hero year, and you have understood that your art which was hidden with you has come up. And in the same way, in music, just see the musical, the classical music dancers and all those people, those who do, they do 16 matras, and 16 का पहाड़ा किसी को नहीं आता, टेबल नहीं आता आज की डेट में 16 का. So but the dancer is doing it in fractions of seconds. He can change, or she can change the mudras. So this is what music is. So everything which is around us and everything which is really into us is art, and we are using them skillfully now. And people like Nirmal has come up with the technically they have come up, and their technical things are also having the examples like this. He was also telling all such examples which we were doing it, and which we really want that child should be taught in a matter where child always says that teach me as I like. Don't teach me as you want to teach me. Teach me as I like to get from you. So this is what these kinds of apps are also helping us. And now after pandemic, if you see, so they have become more smarter than the teacher.
Yeah.
To find out the things in online and getting into all those things, and it becomes they are familiar of all these things. And I appreciate that these kinds of apps they will take up. I have a little question to Nirmal ji, that your app is only for maths.
Correct. Yes, ma'am.
If we want to say something about all the subjects integration and all other things, and normally the schools are having ERPs and they are giving their homeworks and all such things also into that. So if I come to know about this app, so this is only giving us the maths thing. So why would the teacher would appreciate this? This you have to just explain me, that if I want to take up this thing, this is for the students, this is for the school or teacher, or what is it? This exactly is a very good app. I am understanding it and liking it. But all the schools, all the principals, I think my colleagues must be agreeing to it, that we all have some apps in our ERP is going on. So all homeworks and everything is online, and rather pandemic has made us more techno savvy, and everything is going on online itself. So just for particularly maths, we have to go for this app. This is basically math subject only.
Correct. Sir, I will not hijack this whole conversation, but I'll try to give a very short answer, ma'am.
Yeah.
So, see, basically, one of the reasons why we focused on maths is that we wanted it to be specialized, right?
Okay.
See the depth which has gone into creating this kind of content. Uh, it could not have been done if we tried to go wide and cover all the subjects. The second thing that we found is that in a lot of schools, while the ERPs are there, it is largely for administrative tasks, right? So it can be for attendance, fee management. In some cases, it is for just assigning the homework or setting the timetable, not beyond that. So we come at the next stage, right? So in some cases, at least in a few schools, we have been able to integrate with their systems as well. So, from their ERP, they can say that initiate counting well homework, and from there it can go. And the other thing that we did, and that's why we did this whole WhatsApp integration as well, because we said that we don't want teachers to keep going to this ERP and saying that now counting well is sitting somewhere separate. How do I handle that? So if it is coming to you on WhatsApp by itself, then you are not going anywhere. Everything is
Personally, teacher can carry forward all
exactly,
those things.
exactly. So that is the whole idea. So that's how we have tried to overcome that barrier. But that said, to answer your question, why we chose only mathematics is because we wanted to be very focused, and we wanted to make sure that it is done in the right way, the way that whole content structure has to be created, and it has to be aligned with the child's learning, right? And then we package everything into something very simple like homework. It just makes it easy for the teacher to use. So that packaging is really more for ease of use for the teacher, rather than saying that we are trying to replace or do something different from an ERP system.
So it is proved that there is nothing like called problem. It is just the absence of an idea to find the solutions. So if you have an idea to find the solution, you can do it out. So teachers will definitely like it, and I would always feel proud when I see that teachers, those who really want to ask me that my teachers, they say that, ma'am, we want to tell them something about trigonometry, we want to tell them about elevation and all, so can I take my class up and can I use the measuring tape and they can do that? I said, why not? So can I have the measurement of the pole? Why not? So all these things, they know that I like these things, so they are doing it. So practically when they do it, they learn and they have fun in it. And when CBSE has given the Ganit week and all, it was sometimes some schools take it as an order, that it is an order, you have to celebrate the Ganit week or something. But I say, why people are saying Ganit week ko celebrate karna? So every day we are having a Ganit week. What is the problem? We do the same things what we want to do it in this week. So in that, fourth class teachers have come up with this, that, ma'am, we want to, sixth class rather, that we will be needing your help. Will you allow us to be in the grounds? We want to do the relay race. I said, why? Wow. It was a wow factor for me when they said, I want to treat them with this Bodmas kind of activity. So I will be keeping my children in the station over different places, and the baton in that race will be the cardboard with the problem.
Yeah.
So
And
one
actually
by
the
one
thing
they
is,
do it.
ma'am, but the thing is, it is not practical throughout the year. We were
Yes,
saying
I
that
know,
I want to have a world tour.
Mhm.
It is not possible, but not is possible sitting at home. Just sitting at home, you can reach the whole world. So like it
Individually,
is
this
there.
is going to help out.
Yeah, actually, when we talk about ERPs, we are also using that. Can ERP remove the phobia, which was 30 years, 40 years back with us also?
Mhm.
No, that is not removing that phobia. This is a operation type of app, कि वो सिंपल सिर्फ जो है वो करते हैं, क्या बोलते हैं, पट्टियां बांध देते हैं छोटी मोटी चोट की, बट जो गहरा जख्म है, जो बहुत पुराना चलता आ रहा है,
Total
that
operation
you
of
need
maths.
that you need speciality.
Hmm.
And but the thing is that the teachers also need, they want to do something, but scarcity of time, period, and
I
this
know.
and exercises and syllabus and curriculum, they are helpless. So these type of apps, what they do is they make, what sir also says, that one teachers become 40 teachers for the 40 students.
Yeah,
Individual
one-to-one
attention is
treatment is, yes.
yeah. For one teacher becomes 40 to 40, 1:1 ratio becomes, and that gives a drastic change. I had also been using and talking to the principals who had been using earlier also, taking their feedback also. I do it for all the things people are using. So they have seen, they told me, and I've also seen the drastic change in the mathematics level. The teaching level also has changed with the teachers because they are upgrading
The
themselves.
mindset they
We,
have changed.
ma'am, this age we are upgrading ourselves. We always upgrade ourselves. We want to know what is happening in the computers, how we have to use this. So upgradation is all the time. It is needed. So teachers are also upgraded. Students have also become very smart because if you not give them according to what they need, they will throw you out. They will throw the teachers out. So that is also very necessary because in pandemic we have seen they have not attending the classes with the cameras off. Why? Parents are saying, "Beta class, why you not attending the classes?" पापा मम्मा वो टीचर का समझ नहीं आता, मैं यूट्यूब चैनल में दूसरे टीचर का टॉपिक देख रही सेम देख रहा हूँ. तो टीचर्स विल नॉट गेट अपग्रेड, द स्टूडेंट्स विल थ्रो देम आउट. So that upgradation is being given to the students and teachers. The role of the teachers remains the same. In fact, the teachers becomes a hero in front of the student that he or she is able to do perfectly with the students. That old age, it is absolutely right. Till now, the teachers goes into the class, solves 3 to 4 questions on the blackboard. Okay, the exercise in chapter has been
that
done.
traditional stereotype teaching.
Zero result with the mathematics, and that is going on since ages. It is going on and going in, but that removes that. And very, कहते हैं ना कि वो जख्म ऐसे हैं कि वो that has to be removed. So apps like this, what Nirmal Shah sir has done, and courage he has taken to take up mathematics app, and that too from the middle school, where actually the real wound is, that he's healing up that wound for sure. Thank you, Nirmal sir. You are doing a wonderful. Hats off to you for going up with mathematics. So much phobia is there with the principals till now. बचपन से लेके आज तक उनको फोबिया मैथ्स का नहीं गया है. वो हम बुलाने जाते हैं तो वो सब भाग जाते हैं, कहते हैं एनी टॉपिक विल लव टू कम, वी विल नॉट कम इन मैथमेटिक्स फॉर श्योर. दैट इज नॉट अवर फोर्टे. Thank you so much. We'll come up to Neeru ma'am. Neeru ma'am, we will like to know your views on the saying that it is often seen that children try to learn mathematics instead of understanding it. What are the reasons behind it? Ma'am, you're on mute.
So there are many reasons which we have been discussing, and I would like to bring forth 2 important factors into it. Number one is the embarrassment which actually comes up when a child is doing mathematics in the class, because the teacher is usually authoritative. Maths teachers, you must have seen, language teachers and maths teacher, आप दूर से पहचान लेते हो ये language teacher है, mathematics teacher है. Mathematics teacher, you will never find smiling. You will never find that mathematics teacher is actually not bossing around the children. So I think that's the biggest thing that is bringing a phobia in the classrooms, and we really need to work on our teachers' personality. That math doesn't call you to become, sorry to say, all men here, math doesn't call you to become manly and stern always. You can be womanly, you can be
Body language.
Yes, you can be less stern, so I think they need to also have a relaxed kind of approach, and for that I'll suggest we should always focus on group work, because group work gives the child who is the leader has to take the blackest sheep along. So the child who is not able to perform in the classrooms, he or she has to be taken along. That is only possible if the teacher is approachable and they are not authoritative, and the class is not like creating any kind of embarrassment for the child. Number one. Number two, I would like to throw light on this, since my PhD is in gender studies. So I believe gender is one of the most important factors which have been impacting actually mathematics, because in our classes we have got a strength of around 60% of girls, and most of our teachers are females. So one single female teacher, good mathematics, approachable teacher influence goes a long way. And a teacher, you all must have seen that movie Shakuntala Devi, the math wizard. So those kind of things actually I think need to be highlighted, and we also need to smash those gender boundaries, that any female cannot be a good mathematician, and a male person cannot be can always be good at mathematics. I have met many principals who have not been good at mathematics, but they make a beautiful principal and they are rather very good CEOs in the industry, well-known faces. So I think we should thank the apps like Counting Well, who can even do the work for us and help us actually, proceed through the day-to-day things, like how to find out the area, how to do the budgeting, and how much percent of the budget is required for this particular task. So these things should be left on technology, and I think if Counting Well actually is doing that job, and I think that's wonderful. So these are the two aspects I wanted to throw light on. Thank you.
Absolutely right and amazing, ma'am. That mathematics. Are you talking about the gender-biased one? So in the starting, I must remember 1 or 2 sessions. I won't name, but when I had a question that it is seen that girls don't have interest in mathematics as compared to boys. Ma'am, a very good answer. I got it. I removed that question from the next episode onwards. That it is not on gender bias. The females, they cannot resist that. And I got a very good answer. It's not like that gender bias, because many of the girls, they are very good at mathematics and boys are not able to do. How can you say that is gender bias and this and that? So I said that I won't speak about that again. So
thank you, sir. Yeah.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you so much. Swati ma'am, we'll come up to you now. Swati ma'am, we would like to know your views on the saying that the post-pandemic children have become smart. Their teachers have to become more smarter with the latest technology.
This is a known reality that children have become smarter. If they do not want to reveal their name, they will come up with some Rakhi Sawant and Osama bin Laden sort of names. Children have become that smarter to play with the teacher now. The teacher really have to understand who is this Osama bin Laden in my class, and am I supposed to allow him or not? Teacher has to learn that to allow or not. So this is like going a step ahead in the teaching post-pandemic now. While speaking over here, I know that whatever I am going to speak, that I am going to get one solution under the roof, that is Count Well app. So when you have these kind of things in mind, it becomes a bit difficult to handle those students. But still, coming up with the gamification of maths, like having different games on different platforms, whatever we have been taught during the trainings now, after implementation of NEP 2020 and the rigorous training sessions that has been provided to us by CBSE. So these are few things that we all, the principals, have learned, and then somehow we have implemented into the family of our teachers, and we all are trying to move ahead with this. Online field trips can be promoted using Google Maps. Some of the apps like Kahoot can be used while taking those last 5 minutes of the classroom teaching, where we assess what did I teach and how much my children could understand. Teachers can also come up with the PowerPoint presentations with lot many videos, images and animations, and then giving it to the students and taking their opinions, giving them liberty to edit those PPT presentations, and then presenting those PPTs by the students to the class. Few ideas. The homework can be the research-based homework, so that children do not simply solve, because online, offline, the frequent transition is really bothering students.
Swati ma'am, why are giving so much pain to the teachers when we have a Santa Claus with us for the mathematics?
That is what I told you. Even I have developed a phobia to speak now, whatever NEP taught me.
Actually, the problem is that whenever we are talking about a child, we have to go up to his mental level. When he's opening up a book and trying, again opening up the book and trying, again opening up, the 4th or 6th time, it becomes a phobia for him. It is not his fault. It is the fault of the teacher at that time. He has not made it easy for the child. Like you were talking, and ma'am was also talking that when you can easily recognize the math teacher, जिसका मुंह लटका होता है और मुंह पे गुस्सा होता है हमेशा, you can understand that's a math teacher. मतलब उसकी शक्ल से दिख जाती है पूरे स्कूल में, this is the math teacher. तो शक्ल ऐसी दिख जाएगी तो बच्चे बेचारे डर जाएंगे, सीखेंगे कैसे? आउट ऑफ फियर, हैव यू गॉट इट? यस सर, यस मैम, यस सर, यस, ऑलवेज यस विल कम फॉर श्योर। क्योंकि अगर वो फिर से गर्म हो गए तो हमारा क्या होगा? उनकी शक्ल पे लग रहा है कुछ चढ़ा हुआ। So, what type of, like I was saying this, Sir Nirmal Sir has become a Santa Claus for the math teacher also. Like अब वो विलेन की जगह, गब्बर सिंह की जगह टीचर, सब हर टीचर सेंटा क्लॉज लगेगा कि सर आए हैं हमारे पास, जो है बहुत सारे मैथ्स के गिफ्ट लेके आए हैं, हमें ये भी टॉपिक दे देंगे, हमें ये भी टॉपिक करा देंगे, आराम से करा देंगे, इजी गोइंग। You know, the teacher also has a lot of burden. It is not that teacher is 100% wrong. They are not taught about this, that how should they go up with the subject, because the maths has to be taught in a very different way as compared to the other subject, for sure. That is very important. They want to do, but they are not getting the way how to do it. But when we have come up with this Santa Claus, so the help will be with all the teachers. The very good thing he's doing is has come up with the Olympiads and everything, everything is because Santa Claus is there, so there's no money in it. That is most important. And in fact, he told, I'm taking his words, he gives money to the students when they win they win up the Olympiad. Sir, please, you are paying because you should say for that, sir.
So yeah, I mean, not a lot of money, but we do give small prizes to children. That is a way to encourage them, right? So we have.
There are 5 rupees chocolate is also an appreciation, sir. You are giving a heavy amount. You are giving around 1,000, 5,000, some amounts like this to the students. So many prizes I have seen in LinkedIn and other places which are distributing. I'm following you everywhere. Okay, whatever you're speaking is happening or not. It is on this channel only, or it is happening.
It is happening. It is definitely. In fact, we're just starting something called Maths Premier League, and this one we are doing slightly different. So this is an inter-school competition where the school will win a 7-foot tall trophy. So it is an incentive for the school to bring this trophy to them, right? And this is a maths competition. But what we are doing here is that we will do a qualifier test for the children, and then we will divide the children into 3 categories. So the children who are so-called brilliant will be one, right? And then there will be the average, and then there will be the others who are not considered average, right? And then they will get this differentiated set of questions. So that one is that the school is encouraged to send all the children to this kind of competition and not say that I will send only my top 10 students or whatever. And second, even those below average students feel that, yes, I will be able to get my medal, or I will be able to win a prize, or I will be able to achieve something, right? So these are the kind of things which we have to keep doing to encourage the children as well.
Cash prizes also giving, sir. Cash prizes also giving.
This competition, no, but throughout the year we host different kinds of competitions. So
Ramanujan and many competitions I've seen in the LinkedIn and all.
This one that we had cash prizes for the individual children. This one is more of a school.
So you keep on motivating the children in some or other way. And the most important, the best thing about is that you're taking all the children and you are giving them practices according to their level. 3 categories, 2 or 3 categories level. That is very important, because we have seen that the teacher when the teacher is teaching in the class, the first row, 3 to 4 students, they are only getting weight. At rest, they are sleeping. Yes, ma'am. Neeru, ma'am. Ma'am, you're on mute. Ma'am, you're on mute, ma'am. Neeru, ma'am.
Instead of categorizing the children, can we categorize the tasks? I mean, task A, task B, task C, task A, let it be the most difficult ones, and that way. Instead of labeling children, labeling the tasks which you're going to give in your competition. Kindly consider that.
Sure, that's a good point, ma'am. We will do that. Even now, I mean, we are not calling them average or brilliant, right? So we are saying
it's just the concept you are explaining. That's it.
Masters,
We do have
and enthusiasts. So nobody feels that they are being categorized into something.
That's great. That's great. That's great.
Sadhvi ma'am, did you want to ask any question?
That is a one roof solution. The Santa Claus has given everything under one roof.
He's Santa Claus because he's not charging for that. Otherwise, the terms and condition apply. Terms and condition apply is a very painful thing for the schools as of now to add up these things.
Yes.
Thank you, Nirmal sir. You have proved to be a
I
Santa
think
Claus for
you
the
should,
students.
Chandok sir,
Yes,
please give all the emails to him so that he can mail us.
Ma'am, I will share the contact details amongst all of you. You
Okay.
all should get contact with each other. The only aim of the show now on is to bring together all the principals and all the educators together, and wonderful people from the other part of the industry,
Yes.
experts like Nirmal sir, that how they are helping us, how
Yes.
they're helping the kids. I mean, in a very simple manner they are helping it. It becomes वो वही वाली बात होगी, पहले इस्तेमाल करें फिर विश्वास करें वाला बात हो गया.
His
When the
name is
teachers will-
Nirmal. He is pure.
yeah. So पहले इस्तेमाल करें फिर विश्वास करें, but the teachers will start using that, and when they give up the feedback, na, they do, it is so happy to hear that drastic changes have come in the results of the mathematics students. Those who are feeling badly, they have started improving. But if they are improving gradually, they will keep on improving. Why? Because their interest has again come back along with the gifts which has been brought up by the Santa Claus, and the gift is counting well for sure. Thank you so much. Now we're coming up to the last part of the session, which is a surprise one for at least for the new ones also, that before parting, having a very good time and a me time, everybody has to sing 2 lines. Sing. Filmy, non-filmy, patriotic, religious, anything. Because Savita ma'am is the senior one and has already attended as a fresher for the first time. Swati ma'am and Neeru ma'am has come. And Swati ma'am is also a senior, as she has revealed. Although ladies, females, they don't reveal their ages directly or indirectly. But Neeru ma'am, you are the youngest one right now of all of us. Nirmal sir, I'm sorry, sir. You might be the youngest one. I don't know, sir.
No.
But that all's about the ladies. We'll remain gentlemen only. Neeru ma'am, any 2 lines, ma'am? Ma'am, again you're on mute, ma'am.
To sing some song. I have to sing some song.
Yes, ma'am. 2 lines only. Not more than that, ma'am.
हाँ, sure. फिर मैं पंजाबी ही सुनाऊंगी because I belong to Punjab and I think
why not, ma'am?
चलिए ठीक है जी. चन्न फटे ते मैं टाकी लवा हो, चन्न फटे ते मैं टाकी लवा, आसमान फटे की सीना, रब मिलिया मैनू यार ना मिलिया, ते मेरे यार बिना की जीना. Thank you so much.
Wonderful, ma'am. Wonderful.
Thank you.
Wonderful. Swati ma'am, your turn, ma'am.
Yes, sir. This couplet is for everybody in this meeting. 4 कदम चल दो ना साथ मेरे. रम पम पपम चल दो ना साथ मेरे.
Manan.
4 कदम बस 4 कदम चल दो ना साथ मेरे. Stay connected.
Maths is integrated. Music integration with mathematics.
Yes.
This is the quality. This is
Stay
quality of an
connected,
educationist.
Stay connected in this stride.
Right, ma'am. Savita ma'am.
Every time I say that I'm not a good singer, but you make me do something. Okay.
Ma'am, I know very well you are a very good singer, ma'am.
No, not at all. I'll just speak a couplet itself, but not in a singing way. खुद से जीतने की जिद है मुझे, खुद से जीतने की जिद है मुझे, खुद को ही हराना है. मैं भीड़ नहीं हूं दुनिया में, मेरे अंदर एक जमाना है.
क्या बात है. लेकिन मैम, next time when you are coming, you have to sing a song, ma'am. Last time you sung a song, I think I remember, ma'am.
हाँ, वो छोटा मोटा.
Actually, I'm requesting the Indian Idol people to start up a season with the educationists, with the principals and directors. And many of the principals, they are going, like Neeru ma'am had sung so well. So she's going to the quarter or semi-final, somewhat like that. Swati ma'am is also going for that. Now it's turn of Nirmal sir. Nirmal sir, if we want that all of us should get connected after the, with the Santa Claus, we have a condition for that, terms and condition apply, that the Santa Claus has to sing a song for us.
Yes.
Santa Claus तो फिर क्रिसमस वाला गाना गाना पड़ेगा.
नहीं, संता क्लॉज है ना सर, इंडिया वाला है ये. पंजाबी में भी हो जाएगा संता क्लॉज.
सेंटा तो एक सेंटा वाला ही गाते हैं. Rudolph the red-nosed reindeer had a very shiny nose. आगे भूल गया मैं, sorry. And what was it? If you ever saw him, something.
You have given a wonderful dose for maths.
Right.
Yes.
See, Nirmal sir, as an expert, you have made ma'am to sing a line, but she
Yeah.
was not singing at her turn. That's a quality of an
I'm a
expert
very
and a
good
maths
rhyme
expert. Right, ma'am.
But we can't
Right,
sing like Swati and Neeru, what they did. You were marvelous singers, actually, I must say. Both of
No,
them.
we will, ma'am, Swati ma'am, we will for sure, Savita ma'am will also for sure have a program in Delhi NCR. We'll invite everyone. We'll have a different type of program with all the educationists, because this, show is of the principals, by the principals and for the principals. We'll have a very good get together talking about different topics, as well as we'll have a good time. Indian Idol को तो वैसे हमने approach कर दिया है.
You also sing well, Chandhok sir.
So,
They don't know.
sorry, ma'am.
You also sing well.
Me?
Sing for them.
Your turn now.
Please, sir.
मतलब Savita ma'am being a senior, आपने मुझे पकड़ लिया. Remember I sang that in that episode, the last episode when I was there. Did I sing in that episode, ma'am?
Yeah, when you made me sing, I also made you sing. Both of us sang.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, that-
teachers like a student. Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Okay, I'll sing two lines before everybody disappears. चलते चलते मेरे ये गीत याद रखना, कभी अलविदा ना कहना, कभी अलविदा ना कहना. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Thank you, everyone.
Had a wonderful.
Thank you.
Thank you, Savita ma'am. You'll always remain my senior and my boss always, because you always catch hold of me all the time as a leader, as a good leader and a senior leader and a respected leader. Thank you so much, Savita ma'am. Thank you, Swati ma'am, Nirmal sir, and Neeru ma'am for joining the show. I hope you are right. And all the best, Nirmal sir, to you. We will all definitely get in touch with you very soon with our Santa Claus and distribute this gift of counting well to all the teachers. And lot of burden will be removed of our teachers for sure. Okay, sir. See you then.
Thank you.
Okay, ma'am. Bye, bye,
Thank
bye.
you, everyone.
I'll exchange the contact details with all of you, that
Wait,
you all
okay.
together can, all of
Thank
you can
so much for
keep
providing.
in touch with all of you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.